Okay, welcome everyone to the OpenLMIS 3.3 webinar. Thanks to all for joining. We're excited to talk today about the newest features and developments in the OpenLMIS software and initiative. So what is our goal for the discussion today? We would like to ensure that you leave today with a better understanding of what OpenLMIS is and what is in the latest release, the OpenLMIS commitment to global standards and new integrations with key digital health systems, and ways to engage with the OpenLMIS community and learn more about potential implementation. If we have not met that goal by the end of the presentation today, please follow up with us by writing to info@openlmis.org or get in touch with any one of the presenters directly. So the OpenLMIS Initiative is not one specific organization or entity, but rather a community of individuals and organizations that are committed to building high quality, open source electronic logistics management information system, or LMIS software. Village Reach is the current steward of the community management and core development of the OpenLMIS software, and two of your presenters today are from Village Reach. Mary Jo is the OpenLMIS program lead and facilitates the definition of the OpenLMIS software feature roadmap for the OpenLMIS community. Tenley, myself, is the community manager and focuses on bringing the community together and identifying partnerships or implementation opportunities. And today we're also very glad to welcome community partners Craig Apple from ONA and Martin Luchak from Nexleaf Analytics, who will help demonstrate the latest integrations with OpenLMIS. So let's quickly run through some webinar logistics. Please remain muted while presenters are speaking. We will have Q&A pauses during the presentation. So during that Q&A, questions may be asked either verbally or through the chat. And if you have questions that come up during the presentation, please type them in the chat box and we'll kind of curate those questions and then answer them during the Q&A. So feel free to use the chat to converse, ask questions, etc. So I'd like to start off with a quick high-level refresher on what OpenLMIS is before outlining the new features in the upcoming release. OpenLMIS, it is both a software and an initiative. The software allows countries to track products within their health supply chains across all major health programs, from essential medicines, malaria, TB, and family planning products, to vaccines, dilutants, and syringes. The OpenLMIS Initiative started in 2008 when PATH co-led a collaborative process to define requirements and develop a global standard for logistics systems, which laid the groundwork for the first set of implementations of OpenLMIS in Tanzania and Zambia. A decade later, OpenLMIS is now this diverse community that you see here on the screen with over 20 partners, bringing expertise in data analytics and quality software development to on-the-ground implementation, as well as a global network of engaged donors. And the impact of all this has been astounding. OpenLMIS is now used in multiple countries, each with a local partner that has implemented a specific version. So if you have heard of VIMS in Tanzania, eLMIS in Zambia, SELV in Mozambique, or eSigil in Cote d'Ivoire, you have heard of some of the country implementations of OpenLMIS. These systems are used for both vaccine and non-vaccine supply chains to manage logistics processes for over 10,000 health facilities across Africa, with more on the way. OpenLMIS focuses on meeting countries where they currently are in their supply chain maturity while making the case to shift toward automation and best practices. I'll pass it off to Mary Jo, who can now talk about the OpenLMIS software vision and then do a feature demonstration.
Sorry, folks, I have to unmute. Thank you, Tenley. Our philosophy is what sets us apart. OpenLMIS is an open source software that has a shared investment and shared benefit model. This means new features built into the system, either by a global donor or a specific country, can be leveraged across implementers with its open source reusable microservice codebase. We also strive for interoperability using standards because we know each country has specific needs and will leverage more than one system. We believe interoperability between all those systems is the best way to achieve end-to-end visibility and meet the needs of the whole health ecosystem. And we drive to provide a highly configurable system with an extensible code base. Any country implementation can extend and change features to address the in-country context. OpenLMIS aims to meet countries where they are at in their supply chain maturity and grow with them as they professionalize and standardize. Our community of developers delivering the software is rooted in a collaborative and supportive culture of excellence and transparency. Configurability is a key tenet of the OpenLMIS vision, because we want to meet countries where they are at their supply chain maturity. Configurability means the implementer can easily, through a UI and uploads, configure the system without extensive software code modifications. For example, let's say Tenley is a national warehouse manager overseeing an ARV product distribution, and Brandon is a district-level officer managing the vaccine depot. And that supplies to 10 health facilities. When they each log into OpenLMIS, they will see different product lists, have different approval processes, see different processing or calendar schedules, and have differing location sites. You can push supplies and issue it, or you can request through requisitions, and you can fulfill orders. Having specific supervisory approval rules depending on the level in the program, and all of this data is recorded in the system with an auditable date and user stamp if needed. So before we get into each specific feature, which we'll do shortly, I wanted to provide an overview of some of the features that we have, and we won't be touching on all of these in our presentation, but we have that the support that countries need to reduce stockouts, can manage their cold chain equipment, and providing end-to-end supply chain visibility. So some of these key features are facilities and storage sites at any level in the supply chain can request stock based off either a min, a max, or a forecasted demand target, which we call ideal stock amounts. A store can conduct a resupply, otherwise described as order fulfillment, and send stock to facilities with an electronic proof of delivery. Integration with a mobile application, which we will be demonstrating today. You can manage your stock by recording all the physical stock movements, the ins and out. And we also have a brand new analytics infrastructure that we'll briefly talk about today, but will not be demoing today. Lastly, you can manage your cold chain catalog and inventory and receive real-time alerts through remote temperature monitoring devices through an integration.
Great, thanks, Mary Jo. We'll now take just a quick Q&A pause. I know this was just the introduction, but are there any initial questions before we jump into the feature demo? And feel free to use the chat also throughout the presentation to type any questions that you may have.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Yoba from Clinton Health Access Initiative in Cameroon.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I just wanted to find out, I saw on one of the slides perspectives, countries like Cameroon and Angola. I don't know, can you explain further what you meant by perspective on that slide? Then secondly, you also talked about supply chain maturity. At what point do you think this sort of system can be integrated or can be rolled out in the system based on its maturity level?
Yeah, those are great questions. I can answer the first part. Yeah, we are talking with folks at the Cameroon Ministry of Health and members of partner organizations in the country like CHAI and UNFPA to discuss the potential implementation of an electronic LMIS, OpenLMIS implementation there. And I'd be happy to talk with you more following the webinar about the details of that and your role in that discussion. And Mary Jo, would you like to say anything about sort of at what stage a country could potentially consider an ELMIS implementation?
I think that's a very important question and also a very complicated one, since there is not one specific state at which it is appropriate or not appropriate. It's really complicated evaluation of where the country is at. And I would actually like to table that conversation to later when we talk about the implementer toolkit, which provides some examples in ways that a organization or country can evaluate their current state and look at doing an electronic LMIS implementation. But just to keep an eye on time, I think that that's a very important question and one that would require probably an entire meeting to discuss. And so we can give some resources at the end and maybe set up another conversation to specifically talk about when is it appropriate for countries or organizations to think about digitizing their supply chain.
Okay, thank you.
Mary Jo, I did just want to note there are a number of questions in the chat. I can respond to those via writing. Are there any of those that you would like to respond to verbally right now?
I can't actually see the chat, so I will have to rely on you making a judgment call.
That's okay. I'll go ahead and respond to those in writing, and let's move on with the presentation.
Great, thanks. So we have described who the OpenLMIS community is and a brief overview of what the software is itself. Now I'd like to dive into presentation. But before we get started, I'd like to provide some relevant information for the demo and some context. Today, we will log into 3 systems, OpenLMIS, OpenSRP, and a remote temperature monitoring platform called ColdTrace. And we will also reference an ERP system. We will provide links at the end of this presentation if you would like to learn more about any of these systems, and here are some brief descriptors of what they are. Also, a disclaimer, all data for this is for this demonstration and testing purposes only. Data may look strange or unrealistic. We create data randomly to test and display certain scenarios and edge cases. Please do not assume that any data presented reflects the reality of the locations being referenced. As mentioned earlier, OpenLMIS is configurable to any hierarchy or number of facilities. So please note this is only for demonstration purposes to showcase certain features. Today we will pretend to be in Mozambique working for the EPI program or the immunization supply chain. There will be a vaccine warehouse clerk sitting at the national store. We'll be using an ERP to manage their stock. There is a regional immunization and vaccine officer, we will refer to as a REVO, at the NISA provincial store. There is a district immunization vaccine officer, or what we will refer to as a DIVO, sitting at the Kuamba district, who will be using OpenLMIS. There is an immunization nurse 1 at Lorio using OpenSRP, and an immunization nurse 2 that is Macau Health Facility. Please keep this context in mind as we showcase the features. We are going to do a 3-part demo. The first part, the Health Facility Macau will request and receive stock using OpenLMIS. The second part, OpenSRP will request stock and OpenLMIS will fulfill and review the order and look at the cold chain equipment alerts using the integration with ColdTrace, and OpenLMIS will send stock and OpenSRP will receive stock at Lorio. Part 3, the DIVO at Kuamba will execute an emergency order that will get approved by the NISA province REVO and then converted to an order for an external into the ERP for external fulfillment by the warehouse clerk. Part 1, we're about to get started. One more time, just to reiterate what we will be showing you here. The vaccine nurse 2 at the Macau Health Facility will perform a physical inventory, which will update stock on hand, will request stock from the district immunization officer, the DIVO, who will approve and create an order, which will be fulfilled and shipped back to the vaccine nurse at Macau. And here we go. I will show you it now. First, I log into OpenLMIS as Vaccine Nurse 2. It is the end of the month, and I am going to do a physical inventory. I could do adjustments, issues, and receive or view my stock on hand throughout the month, but today I'm going to do a physical inventory. I'm in the EPI program, so I only see the EPI program here. If I was a different user, I could see multiple programs. I have a list of products which I currently already have stock on hand for. Again, this is demonstration data, not realistic. I can update if my stock on hand today is the same, or if it's different, and update what the VVM status is for each product you'll see here. And if there's any discrepancy, I can record that discrepancy. Let's say I only have 200 here, and that 200 is stage 1, and my reason for discrepancy is I had to pass the open vial limit, and the quantity it's telling me here, I have 25 that are unaccounted for, and it was that 25, and so I can update and give that reason for that discrepancy. And then I will continue filling out the current stock on hand. You might see over here the different products, and again, this is very demonstration data to show different ways that you can account for products. We have the support for GS1 standards and can do it down to the trade item and lot level. However, this facility right now only has one lot with the expiration date. The rest do not have lots to meet the needs of current, maybe we're rolling out lots and not everything is supported yet. So this allows for a facility to start rolling out lots while still having stock on hand that isn't lot oriented. I'm going kind of quickly here because I want to make it sure we get through the whole demo. You can delete this if you don't want to use it. You can save a draft and walk away if you would like. And you can add new products if not all of your products are here. And you can also filter and do a keyword search if you have too many products, and it will filter the results here so it's easy for you to find. So we're going to submit. And Tenley, I can see there's lots of chat, so please let me know if anything comes up that I need to answer or respond to during the demo.
Yeah, Mary Jo, one question was just what is stage 1 and stage 2 in the VVM status?
Yeah, so VVM is the vial monitoring. It's like a sticker on each vial that says if the vial has gone over or a certain temperature. And so stage 3 and 4 mean it's no longer viable. Stage 1 and 2 is it's still viable. And so you're essentially confirming that this stock is still viable. And you'll see here that syringes don't have VVM statuses. They're just syringes. There's no temperature sort of monitoring. So it's good to go. And this is an optional and will only show up if you configure the system for that product to do so. So again, each of these products are configured in advance and called whatever it is you want them to be called, ideally following standards and best practices.
Thanks, there was one other question. What is the reporting period for this particular report?
So this is not a report. This is sort of a workflow of physical inventory. So you can do it at any point in time to update your stock. So this is not a schedule. Rather, it's going to happen, and we'll show you just quickly I can say what date I did it, either today's date or a previous, maybe I did it yesterday and I wrote it down on paper and now I'm updating the system. And this is the opportunity for me to update my electronic system to match my physical system. And I'm going to say it's by me. My username is already logged, but this gives me the opportunity to write my name. So I'll submit and this modal appears and I can do a stock take. You can call this a stock take or a physical inventory. At this point, I'm given the opportunity to print out this physical inventory if I would like to for my records, and it will tell me what date. And again, this is all, you can customize this to have the look and feel of for your needs. This is just for demonstration. So then coming back, it brings me to the view of my stock on hand. So I can view historical transactions. So let's say, for example, I want to see the historical transactions for BCG. I can see that we just completed a physical inventory. We had a transfer in a couple days ago. I did a physical inventory. And then there's a bunch of demonstration data in there as well. Okay? So this would be the example of doing the physical inventory, but it's also the end of the month. So all I did my physical inventory so that OpenLMIS knew my accurate stock on hand for today so that I can begin to do a requisition. So I'm going to create a requisition for my facility because this is what I have rights to do if you're a different user. Now again, this is demonstration, so I know this is 2017. You know, ideally would be in today's period, but this is just for demonstration purposes. And we're going to create a request. And so this request for more stock has only a limited number of columns because we're using stock management, and OpenLMIS knows my current stock on hand since we just did that physical inventory. I don't have to input all the information about total received because the system already knows it and we can run reports on it. However, if you aren't using stock management, which many users do not use, you would insert in here all of your stock information for this period. However, OpenLMIS calculates it, and granted, it's calculating it based on 2017. But you'll see here that I can request quantity, or OpenLMIS itself will calculate the order quantity based on the ideal stock amounts, which is the forecasted demand amounts that we did annually as a country, and we input. So these again are for demonstration, and we said for BCG, the ideal stock amount is 5,500. Okay, and it calculates based on the current stock on hand here. All right, and so I don't actually have to edit anything unless I think something is wrong or I want to override it. Okay, but this does it for me. One thing to note is that the ideal stock amounts are by antigen. So Penta 1 and Penta 10 are both 830. So I would probably over order. So I'm going to say that I actually only want to receive Penta 1. And I'm going to say I don't want anything here. And then I say I don't need 10s, for example. And again, these columns are configurable and they could be based off consumption versus the ideal stock amount. We're just trying to give you a flavor for what's available. And again, there are 2 pages here because there are more, I have more stock available. I have more products here. So I could change syringes, for example. You'll see I only want 4,000. So I could zero out some of these, otherwise I'm ordering way too much. The 5 ml or something, okay? And again, this is just for demo purposes. You'd probably have a different mixture of products here. You can also see the total cost of the requisition here. And again, this you wouldn't have to show if you don't actually have prices for each product here. But for demonstration purposes, we have this. This is also being done offline, the capture of this information. So in case I have intermittent access to the internet, I can still fill this out. However, I do need internet to submit and authorize. And I'm going pretty quick here because we have a lot to demo today. So I'm just going to keep on going. I'm sure there's lots of questions and maybe we can follow up afterwards. But we're trying to just give you a flavor of what's here. So this requisition has been submitted. And I'm going to log in as the Devo. Oops, sorry. I need to enter in a password. And I'm logging as the Devo now to approve that requisition that was just made so that I can fulfill it. And again, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. We have a lot to demo today. So this was the one that I just placed. Remember, I didn't need the penta 10s. I could reject it, but I'm going to approve it. Oop. Sorry. Oop. The safety box, sorry, they want to get 4 here. Okay, approve. And so now that I've approved it, and I could change based on if they went over budget or something, I'm going to now go and fulfill that order. So again, we just did for the Macau. I'm going to start the fulfillment. So now I'm getting ready to ship my vaccines to this facility, and I am going to go here, and I can now see my current stock on hand here. So that's in packs at the moment. I can look at it in doses or in packs, and you'll see here this is kind of the summary row in gray, and then again this is my available stock on hand, and this is what's being ordered here. So this is what order was just placed, and then I can fulfill, I only have 114 here if I want to use up all my stock, but I'm only going to send them one, let's say, and maybe I can send another one here. I'll be doing another fulfillment, so I don't want to use all my stock on hand. Again, very important to note is we do have the lots here. So if I have 2 different lots, if they're showing up and how much I have of each, even though I don't have much stock here, okay? I'm gonna do a 0 shipment, and I could also generate a pick pack list, but again, I wanna kind of move through this so we can show our integrations. But I'm gonna confirm this shipment, and that will generate a proof of delivery. Granted, this will be a shipment of a lot of zeros since we're not actually going to ship them much today. And we'll come back to this screen a little later in the demonstration when we do the OpenSRP integration. Okay, and things are taking a little bit longer today. Not sure what's going on. Always have this concern when you do a live demo. I will, now that I confirm that shipment, I'm going to log out and log back in as vNurse 2. And I am now going to receive that shipment back in. And again, apologize for going fast here. I'm gonna enter find my, so what's just been shipped here is what we just shipped here. And I'm gonna take a look at it. And not sure what just happened. Sorry, folks. Live demo sometimes. We got a shipment of 0. You know, I believe I shipped 1 thing, so it's a little embarrassing. I'm going to continue on with the demo, but right here is where maybe I actually looked at the wrong. Just save this real quick. Oops, something. There we go. I may have picked up the wrong order. Let's see here real quick. Confirm this. Shoot. just go restart over, and let's make sure that today, am I looking at the wrong one? What day is it today? Yeah, I'm looking at an old one. Sorry about that, folks. I was looking at an old one. So let's say here, delivered by Susie. And so sometimes if you look at old ones, again, we've made a lot of demo data, so it doesn't always work. And I'm going to confirm. Oops, I need to say how much I accepted here. And I could reject if need be, but I'm just going to accept here. Okay. Apologies for that. That's a little snafu. Now I'm going to go back. That was the first real quick demo. And I know that was a little clunky. Apologies for that. But we do want to get to the main event of showing some of our integrations. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate OpenSRP, creating an order into district. We'll do a fulfillment and send the shipment back to OpenSRP. And we'll also take a quick look at the RTM integration. And I apologize for that first one going really fast. But again, we need to get through all this today. So I will begin with the OpenSRP. Craig, if I could hand it over to you to walk us through creating an order in OpenSRP.
Yes, hi everyone. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Craig Apple. I work with the ONA team, and we've partnered with Village Reach to build a proof of concept where we are integrating the Open Smart Register platform with OpenLMIS. And to orient you, what we're looking at right now is the emulator running on my computer, and I wanted to display the ideal stock amounts for Lurio Kwamba. OpenSRP is a general tool that allows us to, allows community health workers to track their work with child populations every day. There are many components to OpenSRP, and what we're going to demo today is just one of them. Right now, we're looking at the home screen for OpenSRP. And this is where the primary child activity takes place. Before we get started with that, I wanted to go over and show you the current stock on hand within the OpenSRP client. What we're looking at here by antigen type is the total number of vials that I have and the total number of doses that are available. We can see if you compare this number, 70 vials of BCG, against the ideal stock amount, you can see that my reorder quantity would probably be 7 items. So this is a snapshot of where we are right now. Now, let's say that I'm an immunization nurse, and I want to go and immunize one of the children. A number of children have come into my clinic today, and Paulo has just been born 2 days ago, and I'm going to give him his OPV 0 and BCG. Okay, so this is BCG done today, right? And OPV 0 done today. Okay, so I've done this for all the children who've come into the clinic today, and to demonstrate one of the core features here of the integration, I'll go back to my stock control, in particular BCG. This view is the local stock card view, and I will issue stock to the nurse. So today, I issued to the children's clinic a number of vials, and the system, based on the number of children that were immunized today, gives me an assumption of the total number of vials that were consumed. So today there were 6 children who were vaccinated for BCG, and the system automatically recognizes that BCG is a 10-dose vial, and so 1 vial is used. So sure enough, I'll type in 1 file has been used. It also gives me the ability to track wasted files in the event that maybe something was dropped, or 2 files were pulled out of the cold storage for today. Additionally, we started with 70 files of BCG, and it automatically calculates the new balance in real time. The next thing we're going to do in OpenSRP is generate an order. So OpenSRP tracks the stock of each of these antigen types, and it allows frontline health workers to manage their stock within the app. The integration that we've built is the ability to push a button in OpenSRP to create a new order. And what that does is it calculates, so please confirm, of course, it calculates the current stock on hand for each of these antigen types. And then on the server side, it does some math. So it's going to push 69 vials of BCG. The ideal stock amount is 77. So the order quantity that ends up in OpenLMIS should be, of course, 8 files. Okay, so with that, this is the first part of the demo. We're going to shift over to the OpenLMIS side, where a Devo1 is going to log in. And Mary Jo, I'll shift that back to you.
Thanks, Craig. So similar to before, I will log out and now log in as Devo1. So I am the District Immunization Officer, logging in to find that order that Craig just sent me from the facility Loria. So I am getting ready to ship vaccines to Loria. So I will go to Fulfill Orders to find that order that had just been shipped. And we have been doing a lot of demoing recently. So I'm going to make sure that the recently ordered is on the top. I believe this should be the order. I know. So you'll see here the 8 that Craig just mentioned. And again, on my side, he ordered BCG antigen 20, and I have different lots of that BCG from Intervax. So I can choose which lot. However, I only have 9 of lot B, so I will say 9 here to ship back. But they only need 8, so I'll ship 8, which will leave me with only 1 stock on hand. So this is a good example of demonstrating what was ordered and what I have on stock on hand to give. With Rota, they would like 12, and I can choose which to send from different lots. I'll just give 12. And it will suggest lots as well based on the first to expire. And I have 2 different kinds. I have the Rota Tech and then another type that was defined a different way. So again, this is kind of demo data. You would probably only have 1. 175, but I only have 40. So I will submit or send 20 here and 20 here. Requesting 529. I only have 450, but I'll give them everything I have. Okay. And 62, I have 100. So I will give the 50 and then 12 more. 62, and I will give 26. All right. I can generate a pick pack list if I want to go find those. And it will, based on the fill quantities, let me know what to go and pick up. Okay. Can also save it and come back later if I'm not sure about my quantities. However, before I hit confirm, I want to confirm, before I confirm the shipment, I want to make sure that their CCE is fully functioning. So I know if I need to pack cold boxes or not, if something has happened since they sent it to me. So I would like to introduce Martin, who's going to talk a little bit now about our interoperability with RTM. So, and we'll explain a little bit about what these bells mean.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Martin Lukacs. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Nexleaf. We provide a PQS certified RTM system called ColdTrace, and we've been working with Village Reach and others on integrating the data from this system to fulfill a variety of use cases with integration into the OpenLMIS. And so I believe in previous releases of OpenLMIS, if you've been at those demos, you've seen the sort of CCE management features within OpenLMIS. And so what Mary Jo is showing right now is the CCE inventory at one particular facility. You can see there's 5 fridges here. The piece that we've added with the integration is these little bells in the status in the working status column. These indicate the status of the system as reported from the RTM system, and these are I think we could describe them as sticky alerts, meaning whether the RTM system is currently reporting or has in the past reported that there's an issue with the fridge. The alerts will remain here until the OpenLMIS user, or the Devo in this case, comes and acknowledges them. So in this case, the delivery was to Lurio, and what Mary Jo can do here, what the Devo can do here is can hold the cursor, the mouse cursor over the bell, and can see the message, the content of the most recent alert. The alert parameters are defined within our system. So when she held it there, sorry, what did it say again?
Oops, sorry.
The equipment not working, that it's free,
too hot.
Too hot, yeah. So if you could actually click it or click the button next to it. Here, she can take a look at the alert, and you can actually, there's a history there that you could bring up as well. It'll show the last 30 days of alerts. And so if you get to this point and you want more information, you can flip over to the ColdTrace system. Here is one visualization we have. Briefly, on the left, it shows the facility, the make and model, and then the information about the sensor that's connected. There's one of the middle sections is showing a heat map of the past 7 days, where green means in range, red means hot, blue means cold. There's some stats about number of alarms and percentage uptime for the past 30 days. And so she could click on the one particular fridge, it was the V170, and she could see the temperature. And you can see here that actually right now, and again, this is demo data, and so it's pretending it right now it's March 23rd or 24th. This demo data shows that the temperature now is fine, but within the past week, it was above 8. So this isn't necessarily you know, something that you need to immediately act on, but it's something that you would want to have repaired. So what the Devo can do is back in OpenLMIS, they can change the functional status to awaiting repair. You know, the reason it's not working or not in use. And, you know, this can be based off making a phone call, or, you know, this information can also be updated later. And so that's it. So now it's been updated, and
we can also dismiss the
alert. So now it becomes a little transparent or hollow bell, meaning that there's an ongoing issue, but it's been acknowledged.
And so again, sorry I didn't navigate over, but the way you navigate is you can look at your supervised facilities, and we were in L'Oreal, so that's how you get there. And one thing I wanted to also convey is that we use standards, so HL7 Fire standards, to interoperate with ColdTrace so that the pieces of equipment are automatically synced between the two systems, and it's not a manual entry between the two systems. And the alerts come in, again, automatically. There's no human interaction to have these bells turn dark, meaning there is an active alert. The only manual point is dismissing the alert here. It can also be dismissed by ColdTrace, but it's pretty exciting. And to continue, Martin, is there anything else you'd like to add before I keep going to finish the fulfillment and send stock back to Craig?
Just that the standards covered syncing both the facility information and the makes and models and the serial numbers, all the information that's part of the CCE inventory in OpenLMIS.
Yes. Thank you. So now we'd like to, I'm still the Devo, and I'm going to continue with my fulfillment that I had already started here. And I'm going to confirm this shipment and send it back to Craig. And my apologies, I guess I could have shown at the top, it would now be updated with the new functional status that some of those, that piece of equipment is no longer available. Since I removed that functionality status. But now the order, I've shipped stock back to Craig, so I'd like to turn it back to Craig to do the receive process.
Great, thank you. So on the back end, what we have is we have the servers syncing up right now. And so the OpenLMIS server has just created the shipment, and OpenSRP is querying for all recent shipments. That usually takes about a minute to sync. And after that, I need to sync my tablet. So I'll go ahead and click sync. My sync is complete, and let's see if it showed up. Great. So now what we can see is a history of all the orders that we've made. And of course, we've made a couple today as we were preparing for the demo. And then this item that was just shipped by Mary Jo showed up. So I'm able to click it, and this shows me the information from OpenLMIS directly in the OpenSRP app. You can see the order date, ship date, of course, from where, processing periods, and then the information based on this antigen type, which is what is tracked by OpenSRP. So I ordered 8, 8 were shipped, and this is a calculation based off of the total number of doses.
Thanks.
As the user, I'm able to review this and look at the shipment that is physically in front of me, verify it, and if everything looks good, I press the receive button, and that order has been accepted into my system, or that shipment has been accepted into my system. And what we can see now is our stock cards are all updated to this ISA amount. Okay, so that's the end-to-end demo of the OpenSRP integration.
Thanks, Craig. And here's the high-level view of what we just did. sending and receiving stock. Unfortunately, we were getting short on time. We only have about 8 minutes left. So I think we're going to have to skip the part 3, which was doing an emergency requisition approval process and then converting to order for an external fulfillment. We will be scheduling more demos in the future, so thank you for joining this demo part, and we'll finish up the presentation and take some questions. So apologies for not being able to finish everything, but we attempted to get quite a bit in 1 hour. Before we leave you, I wanted to, in summary, acknowledge that we just highlighted the OpenSRP integration and also the Nexleaf integration. We didn't talk about everything OpenLMIS is doing, but we talked about the order fulfillment, requisition process, receiving with proof of delivery. There are a couple things we didn't demo today. One exciting new update is that we have a new analytics framework, and we wanted to highlight as well our standards-based approach to interoperability before we leave you today. So just real quick, we won't be demoing, but just showing we have a new analytics infrastructure, and this is to support end-to-end visibility of the supply chain that stakeholders want to be able to see. And we believe that this new open source infrastructure has the ability to provide risk management across systems. OpenLMIS has invested in this to support the high volume transactional data capture that we were showing you today, meaning you can insert in transactional. You can support anything from monthly uploads to something coming in every minute. Also in-depth data review to conduct root cause analysis across systems, including filters, drill down, disaggregation, and routine easy-to-use reports. I know this is a lot of information on one slide, but the main takeaway here is that our analytics infrastructure, you can capture data from multiple sources, including OpenLMIS. You can also capture data from DHIS2, electronic medical records system. You can process it, merge duplicate data points, clean it up, and then organize it in a way that allows for faster queries with large integrated databases. And then finally, you can visualize it either in OpenLMIS or another dashboard application like Tableau or DHIS2. Essentially, if the country has already invested in a visualization platform. And we aren't demoing this today, but we would like to do that in the future. So I just wanted to make a teaser to show you all. And here's an example visualization of being able to do stock on hand visualization for monthly trends. Lastly, another teaser is around global standards. And again, there's a lot on this slide, and in the future, we would like to dig into every slice here, but we are supporting industry standards, which is in the gray, to support and drive metadata exchange and interoperability with health management information systems, warehouse management systems, electronic medical records, facility registries, and some of the mobile data applications we just showcased here today. So again, in the future, we'd like to showcase this more and wanted to leave you with that. Now I'll turn it over to Tenley for one final announcement. Oops, sorry, or a Q&A.
That's okay. Yeah, we have, we're kind of running out of time. I think we've answered most of the questions in the chat. There were just a couple questions. One that I don't believe we answered was back when we were looking at the requisition, whether the orders or the products were in vials or doses. And then another question was around local servers in the country and whether those could be used for storing the data.
So to the first question, it's in doses for the requisition. It could be, as you saw the toggle on the order fulfillment, we are looking to put in a toggle so that you could see it in both vials and doses. But that's a great question. So it's in dispensing units, which is the doses. The requisition is in dispensing units, and the order fulfillment is in packs, but you can also view it in doses as well. And then to your last question is, you can run this on local servers. We encourage doing it in the cloud. However, you can run the system on a local server if you have the appropriate infrastructure in place and ability to maintain your local servers. And but we can talk more again about deployment, maybe in the implementer toolkit that Tenley will be talking about shortly.
Excellent. Thanks, Mary Jo. Yeah, there are a couple more questions coming into the chat, and we'll go ahead and respond to those via chat since we're getting a little short on time. I did just want to quickly talk about our implementer toolkit that we've just released. So the OpenLMIS community has just released the first iteration of this toolkit. This has both resources for countries to both contribute to. So if you have experience implementing an eLMIS and you would like to contribute that experience, and also for countries or programs to reference when you're thinking about or planning to implement an electronic LMIS project. The toolkit has been developed by a consortium of partners like ONA, PATH, JSI, Village Reach, CHI, BAO Systems, with experience implementing these logistics management information systems, and these partners are also available to support implementations in countries. Next slide. Yeah, so if you'd like to get involved, there are a couple great ways to get involved with OpenLMIS. One is by using and contributing to the OpenLMIS Implementer Toolkit, and the other is by joining the OpenLMIS community. We have a number of OpenLMIS committees. We also have online forums, as well as a Slack channel for discussion. So we are an open source community that is looking for greater participation on behalf of our implementers. So if you'd like to get involved, please contact us after the demo at info@openlmis.org, and we'd be happy to start including you in our conversations. So like I said, we have a number of resources. After this demo or after this webinar, the recording, the presentation, as well as the chat transcript will all be available on openlmis.org. Someone did also ask if there was an environment for demoing and playing around with some of what you've seen today. I will be sharing a link for our demo page that does include scripts, a presentation, and you just need to get in touch with us for the URL for the demo site just to ensure that multiple people aren't playing or demoing at the same time. But yes, that is available for you to go in and kind of play around with the system yourself. We also have the OpenLMIS Wiki, which is a great source of information for our product roadmap, design considerations, the project management, all our committee notes, etc. And then for developers, someone did ask where can the system be downloaded or where our source code is. OpenLMIS is open source. It's entirely free to download. On openlmis.org, you can access all the links to our documentation, our GitHub, etc. So I would encourage everyone to visit openlmis.org and look around the website, especially the tools section where you can find the implementer toolkit, links to our GitHub, wiki, etc. And finally, the OpenLMIS YouTube channel has a great number of demo videos. There is a demo video of the OpenLMIS OpenSRP integration available there, as well as some demos of the stock management and requisition functionality. Some of those are available in both French and Portuguese, and we're trying to develop further resources in both those languages as well. So just a couple takeaways. Who are we? OpenLMIS is a solution that can help countries actively manage complex supply chains by focusing on interoperability between data collection and management systems. What can we do? We can help provide end-to-end visibility for managers and donors alike, improving data access, quality, and timeliness. And what sets us apart? If I had to choose 3 phrases to describe OpenLMIS, they would be standards-based, interoperable, and configurable. These 3 elements of OpenLMIS are what set the software and community apart and support supply chains in their evolution and maturity. And someone did ask a question about, at what point is a supply chain ready for an electronic system? I think that's a great question, and something that we would love to talk about more in our community. And how can we work together? So someone did ask a question about, whether OpenLMIS costs money, to download or utilize. The money invested in implementing this software is spent on the people, on the processes, and on improving those local health systems, and not to pay for a software licensing fee. OpenLMIS is open source and has a consortium of implementing and partners to work with in deploying the system to meet those country needs. So that's the end of our presentation. We can take any final questions. You can ask those verbally or type them into the chat box. There are links here to openlmis.org, to smartregister.org, which is the website for OpenSRP, which our colleague Craig from ONA demonstrated today, and also nexleaf.org, which our colleague and founder of Nexleaf, Martin, demonstrated today as well. So you can, again, contact us at info@openlmis.org, or get in touch with any of the presenters, request a demo, or visit those pages. All information, the recording, the presentation, and the chat transcript will be available in the next couple days on openlmis.org and on our wiki. There were just a couple more questions in the chat. The toolkit, is it available in a PDF version? Right now it's online, but there are many PDF downloads, sample project plans, budgets, things like that. So there are a great number of PDF downloads available. So I would highly suggest visiting the toolkit, and that is something that we can consider, is making that available for a download. But that information does get updated really regularly, so maybe a PDF would get out of date quickly, but that's a good question. Martin, there was one question in the chat just now. Can you briefly describe the infrastructure of Cold Trace?
Sure. So it's a combination of a device and a cloud system where the device is based uses the cellular network to monitor the temperature in the refrigerators. It could send alerts via SMS. The data from the device is transmitted to the cloud platform, where there's further visualizations, reports, and alerts. As we've demonstrated today, there's configuration. We have this initial integration, and you saying, what does it take to set up the system? So you have to purchase the device. Those prices are listed in the PQS catalog, and with that you get access to the existing cloud platform. And happy to talk more about this. I can give you my email, and we could set up some time to chat.
Great, thanks, Martin. One other question, someone mentioned tracking of delivery vehicles, so being able to track transport. You did say that you don't think that that's been well addressed. Perhaps Mary Jo or someone could talk about what we're considering on our product roadmap, some of the additional integrations that we're looking at, and other considerations.
Yeah, that's a great point. I do think that it is raised in the community about the need for tracking delivery and the transport side. We've been talking with some other organizations who support applications that do that, to look for integration with those, to get that end-to-end visibility and follow the vaccines or stock on the trucks themselves. We don't have an exact date or timeline, but we are in conversations. And if you would like to join the community and point out other applications that you think do this well, we'd be happy to talk more about that. We have spoken a little bit to Parcel and conversations with LOMIS, which are other sort of initiatives that are looking more at the transport side of things. But it's definitely on our radar and something the community talks about, and we would be looking for other open source platforms to integrate with to get that end-to-end. So it's a great point, and something that we do continue to look for as our implementations move in that direction of wanting that tracking to happen in the vehicles. So if you have any recommendations or connections, please let us know so we can reach out to other solution providers that might have already had built applications that do that or have devices that do that.
Thanks, Mary Jo. There's one more question in the chat, and then I did want to just briefly mention there were several questions around interoperability with DHIS2. So the question in the chat was, in the case of stock out from a central cold store, can the application allow reallocation of stock from other health facilities to other health facilities?
Yeah, so if there is a stock out, you can issue stock in that sort of stock management module. You can issue stock and record it. However, there is not an automatic redistribution that happens within the system. It still is a manual process of sending stock to a different location or having a different facility fulfill an order. But absolutely something that we're looking into more about how can you do that in a more automated way. Right now it is a human would identify that the stock is out and then identify which facility to send it to. And you could look at a report to see where the stock is at and identifying that facility. But you would manually have to say which facility is going to fulfill that order at the moment.
Great, thanks, Mary Jo. And there's been, some good questions and answers in the chat as well. And there were several questions around interoperability with DHIS2. I think this is something that a lot of folks are interested in seeing. We did build a proof of concept integration or interoperability with DHIS2 with our partners BAO Systems. We did demonstrate that at the last Global Digital Health Forum in December in 2017. And at the most recent DHIS2 symposium just a couple months ago. But it sounds like there may be a lot of interest in a short webinar or a demonstration video around OpenLMIS DHIS2 interoperability. So if that's something you'd like to learn more about, please let us know. But just from the interest today, I think that's something that we'll look to feature in our next webinar. So quickly, if you have any suggestions for additional webinars or feedback for us, please feel free to type that in the chat or send that to us at info@openlmis.org. Martin did share his email in the chat as well, so if there are questions around Nexleaf and the RTM platform cold trace, please feel free to email Martin. If you have other questions around the OpenLMIS integration with any RTM platform, please just let us know, or with OpenSRP as well. So I think we're about 10 minutes over. We'll go ahead and wrap up for today. I'd just really like to thank our presenters and our colleagues, Martin from Nexleaf and Craig from ONA, who represented the RTM platform, as well as OpenSRP. And from the OpenLMIS team, Mary Jo and myself, we thank everyone for joining today. Please, again, feel free to reach out to us, visit our resources online, and we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Thanks.